Hello and welcome to today's August 17th second stimulus check update and second stimulus package update. If you're a subscribed member of my community, then welcome back. And if you're not, consider subscribing right now. There's a reason 612,000 people have joined. All right. Now, my heart goes out to the families and the farmers in the state of Iowa that were negatively affected by a tremendous storm that came through and damaged hundreds of thousands of acres of farmland. So please know that if you're in that area, my heart goes out to you. I'm also going to talk about the contest results at the end of this video and an upcoming contest where you could win even more money. Okay, now I need your help. Can you think of a job here in the United States where somebody could miss a deadline, go on vacation, and still not be fired? After doing some research, I figured it out. It's Congress. You should run for Congress if you want these criteria. It'll pay you six figures, and you can take off during a crisis and abandon the American people. You can leave your work undone and pass no relief bill and still get a six-figure check. So anyway, for those of you who are looking for a job, oh my gosh, I'm frustrated with our government leaders. All right, let me know in the comments. Do you think that President Donald Trump should have signed an executive order to stop Congress from leaving Washington, or at least stop their paycheck until they get a relief package done? Let me know in the comments. Those are two executive orders that I can think of that would have really helped the American people. Stop their pay, stop them from leaving Washington. Okay, let me share some pieces of news that have happened since Friday. Most of them are going to come from President Trump because the other people involved in the negotiation aren't even talking to each other. On Friday, President Trump tweeted, "I have directed Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin to get ready to send direct payments to all Americans." He then gave a number of $3,400, which would be $1,200 to two adults and $500 to two children, for a total of $3,400 if you saw the tweet. He also tweeted, "I am ready to have the U.S. Treasury and the SBA, or Small Business Administration, send additional PPP payments to small businesses." He also tweeted, "I am ready to send more money to state and local governments to save jobs for police, firefighters, first responders, and teachers." He also tweeted, "I am ready to send $105 billion to states to help open schools safely. My kids go back to school in 2 days, and because you clowns in Washington couldn't get something done, I've got to spend tons of money on PPE equipment to send my own children back to school." Okay, lastly, he tweeted, "I am ready to send rental assistance payments to hardworking Americans." Now, this one I'm doing a little bit more research on because in the executive order and memorandum, he did sign protecting people against eviction, but I've not read about these rental assistance payments, so I'll do more research and get back to the community. He then completed this Twitter storm by reminding the American people that he does not take money from the American people, and that this quarter he will be donating his salary, $100,000 for the quarter, to rebuild national parks here in the United States. Meanwhile, Congress has gone home and has not donated their salary, has not taken a pay cut. So whether you like President Trump or hate his guts, at this point, he seems to be the only one still trying to get a deal done for the American people. Republican Congress and Democrat Congress members have gone home and are now on break until September. Can you imagine if a jury went home without a verdict? The judge would hold the jury members in contempt of court and would lock them in a room with guards until they came up with a decision. And how do I know this? Because this is what happens when a jury doesn't come up with a decision. So why can Congress go home without coming up with a relief bill? Makes no sense. I think that they should lock Congress in a room until they come up with a relief bill and quit bickering, right? Now, will you do me a favor? Will you give this video a like so that YouTube will share it with others? This is good information. And please share this on social media. Okay, now here's some more good information. On Friday, a group named the Problem Solvers Caucus met with White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. The Problem Solvers group is made up of members of the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. They are equal from each group. This group has vowed to always find a way to move forward in a bipartisan way to advance bills. So these guys have been called in as like a Hail Mary, right? You're not talking. Okay, let's bring in the group that has made a commitment to be adults and talk through issues and come up with a relief package. Each side of the Problem Solvers Caucus will now take information back to their respective parties. A spokesperson from the Problem Solvers group said, members of the Problem Solvers Caucus spoke with Chief of Staff Meadows this morning to discuss ways to help break the logjam between parties, get negotiators back in the room, and help America in our response to the COVID crisis. So their entire purpose of showing up was so that both parties could be communicating with the White House on what is needed to break up the logjam and move forward. So it made me really happy to read that this group exists and that they felt like they had good meetings with the White House. Again, these talks only happened on Friday, so hopefully today or this week, the ideas and information that came out of this meeting will reach leaders of each respective party and discussions can start again towards moving forward on a relief package. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has called for the House of Representatives to come back to Washington. Now, when I read this, my heart leaped. I was like, oh my gosh, something's getting done. This is great. But then I read that the only reason she's calling people back is to deal with the voting and the post office situation. Now, I'm not discounting the fact that we need to be able to have votes and that there is a need to work through some post office issues. But seriously, over 30 million Americans are on the verge of eviction. They're running out of food. You didn't get a stimulus check out. We've been waiting 5 months. And you're coming back to make sure that the post office can run. Again, I know that it needs to happen, but it's just frustrating that 100 million people need financial assistance, and all you're thinking about is how do I get my votes in? All right. Now, did you hear that a few weeks ago, armed forces were rescued from a desert island? Three people in the armed forces had gotten off track and ended up on a deserted island and ran out of fuel. And a U.S. tanker happened to be going by and saw a huge SOS sign that they had made on the beach. Pretty cool story, right? Anyway, it made me think that perhaps my family should make a giant SOS sign on top of our roof, which stands for Send Our Stimulus. Anyway, cool story. I can't wait to tell you guys when these checks are coming. Okay, now on one last bit of good news. The winners of the contest that I ran last week where I gave $1,000 to my community have been selected. I used a third-party random winner generator by the name of Rafflecopter. It chose the 20 families that won $50 each to help them with groceries, back to school, covering some form of bill. Anyway, they will be emailed and alerted that they are the winner. But guess what? We had so much fun giving away money that we're actually going to do it again. And a couple members of the community actually sent me money via PayPal and Venmo so that I could give even more money this upcoming week. So I should have details tomorrow or by Wednesday if I'm able to do YouTube Live. So watch for that because we know that a lot of families are hurting and we want to help you the best we can, right? Like, again, as I said, I'm not rich, but I'm not poor. And I just love my community, and we want to give back. We want to help. So more details are coming on that. So do pay attention. All right, lastly, I just want to remind you, I apologize that this is kind of a long update, but I just want to remind you as I close that you are amazing. Please don't forget that. Don't ever derive your self-worth from what our government is doing. I want to thank you for being in my community, and I'll see you on the next video.